Okay, we'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our August 6th regular meeting, the Walsh County Commission. We finally did get Zoom going here, and if you'd like to speak, please let me know. I'll recognize you and let's try to speak one at a time. We have a lot of stuff going on today, so we are a little bit behind, but we are going to start with additions to the agenda. Danny.
Like to have a jail meeting update or plan another meeting or whatever. And I'd also like to know if we're gonna have legislative people come around this sometime this fall before session.
Amy?
No.
Christie?
No.
Ernie?
No.
Myself, no. Christie?
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, then we will go to the consent. The auditor is asked to have the two special meeting minutes approved at the next meeting, so we will just approval for the July 16th regular meeting minutes.
Second?
All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay, we have employee time, and for employee time, we have State's Attorney Kelly Cole, and she's gonna give us an update on the Vesley bill.
Good morning.
On Vesley.
As you all may know, in Mr. Sam's judgment, it indicated that he was to clean up within 60 days. So, the Grand Forks Public Health went out on July 24th, which was 60 days from that. They, inspected, I think he asked them to, yeah. They inspected, they filed a report with my office late on the 25th. I filed a petition to revoke on the 26th, and the court set it quite quickly for yesterday for an initial appearance on the petition to revoke his probation. At that hearing, Mr. Sand appeared. The judge advised him of what the allegations were in the petition, and what her disposition alternatives were. He indicated he wasn't sure about an attorney. They always are requested that. And so the judge gave him 2 weeks to make a decision with regard to an attorney. He will be back in court on August 19th. At that time, it'll just be a status conference with regard to the attorney, and I expect he'll either have the opportunity to admit the allegations or deny them. If he denies them, it'll get set on for what's called a evidentiary hearing. The state's burden in that hearing is just a preponderance of the evidence because he's already been convicted. So, and it would just be a hearing to the court. So that's the status. My understanding is he's made some progress in cleaning it up. He's sent photographs, and I think Deputy Liggins was out there yesterday, so.
Okay, thank you for the update.
You are welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to Walsh County Soil Conservation. Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brent. Come on up.
I'm requesting that you appoint Kent Matichak to the weed board to fill my open position.
Kent Matichak.
Yeah. He's from Sauter Township.
So,
He has a Brockett address technically, but
yeah,
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Or comments? Hearing none, we'll take a roll to appoint Kent Matichak to the weed board. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
yes.
Danny?
yes,
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Are we full now or are we still short?
We're full.
We're, okay,
Oh, we
What
went
we reduced, we did 3 members, so instead
Yeah,
of 5,
yeah.
so now we have 3 members. So.
Yeah. okay.
Very good, thanks, Brent.
Thanks,
Brent. Sorry about that, Okay, now we'll go to the soil conservation, mills update. And so Christie, did you have something to give us about the mills for the or say about the soil conservation?
Not at this point.
About how it's.
I think we talked about, yeah, that the valuation, I go off of the valuation. So the budget, you guys give me the dollar amount and I go off of that. And then it's calculated by the mill value. And that determines how many mills you guys get. So that's why last year you only had 2.24 mills, not the full 2.5. And I looked back at your budget last year and your budget last year was in dollars. You didn't even, there wasn't even a indication of how many mills you guys wanted. I do receive some budgets that have both. And typically when we have both, if it isn't gonna meet that, whatever they write for mills, I will reach out to them. Just to verify with them, but, your budget, yeah, so last year, I'm not sure what the question was on it, but that is century code.
So in the future. I guess first of all, we'd like to ask for the difference. From last year, but also in the future, we would like to ask for the 2.5 mils. We don't know that number, nobody seems to know that number ever, and so. In the future, our number. Was related to what we were told that we could get. That the number would be the 2.5, and it turned out to be a little bit more than, I mean, the 2.5. Provided a little bit more than what was available. At the time we were making the budget, and that's why we put the number that we put in. We didn't know that we could put in 2.5 or the number.
Well, I'm sorry, technically you can't,
Okay,
but
yeah.
you know, technically I cannot
So-
accept the budget with just the number of mills requested.
Yeah.
It has to be certified in dollars.
Yeah, I understand that. So from now on, we're gonna be asking for more than what the 2.5 would provide.
Sure.
And that way we get the full 2.5% time. Also, we need to clear up something. We're not under your jurisdiction. We are an entity unto ourselves. We have elected officials. And elected directors, I should say, and appointed directors. We are just like a school district or township, so on. We do have to provide a budget to you, and we will do that. We have to provide first a preliminary one and then a final one, and we will do that. But that is our decision entirely. What you will receive, and we just want to make it clear that we are not under your authority in any way.
Danny?
Just for the record, could you introduce your people with you? That way they're on YouTube for.
I will turn that over to.
Well, I'm Brandon, of course, y'all know me. This is Taylor Lorenz and Heather Okeson. They're both our interns that we have throughout the summer. So. And we had other high school students, but they're done now for the summers.
I might add, these two are amazing workers. They worked for me for a little bit, and I was like, these guys can really work, so thank you very much. Any other questions that you might have?
So when you say you're gonna try to get to the 2.5, that doesn't mean you get it every year, it's what the numbers state right here, right?
Yeah, so it's a state audit worksheet
Right.
that I put in, that I enter all the data into. And yep, they can budget whatever, they could put $5 million as what the certified dollar amount is, and I just enter it in, and then max is what they get, so.
max.
Totally understand.
We understand that completely, we just, to be real honest with you, we don't want it to be less than the 2.5 that we were authorized to be given, so that's the reason.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I guess Joel, my thought is you have a budget for a reason, right?
Yeah, and we'll stick with that.
Right, we have a budget for a reason. You budget for the dollar amount that you need to get through the year.
Absolutely, we won't be doing 5 million, but I mean, she's just making a point. We'll be doing, you know, like maybe 3,000 more than what we might be told or something like that, so we get to that 2.5. But yes, you're right, we need to do a budget, but I need to be honest with you, we will need the full 2.5 every time. We're short. And 2.5 doesn't do it for us, but thankfully, we have a lot of other places to find income, and one of those is in grants, and we have been fairly successful because of what Josh is doing, Josh Anderson. And that's what's happening lately. Not only he works for finding grants, Brandon does too, so does David. They look for them and then Josh writes them. But it isn't just those three that look for grants. There's other people that keep presenting grant ideas to Josh, and so that's pretty exciting to see. Because they have a network of people that they contact and work with, and those people bring in grant ideas. So we keep being updated. Honestly, some of the grants are, you find out about them. Park River received one grant for 25,000. I think Grafton got 2 grants for 25,000. And we would have had another grant for 25,000 in Park River. But these are not for soil conservation districts. I understand that, but it's kind of for the same purpose though. And so that's why they're being done. And I mean, what I'm trying to say is they don't bring money into the soil conservation district, but they're bringing money in for those purposes in the cities. And I think it won't be just those 2 cities that will be looking for it, it'll be others as well in the future. So anyway, we're excited about what's happening and thankful. Thank you. And thank you for your help.
okay. Any more questions? Okay, thanks for coming.
Time.
Yep. Okay, we'll have Alan come up and we'll talk about.
I'm actually gonna let Heidi go first.
Okay, Heidi.
I know she's got some appointments in Grand
Okay.
Forks, so,
I'm glad you could stay on schedule then,
yeah.
even a little ahead.
Good morning. This is an update about the Welsh County Correctional Center and the services that we are offering Mr. Agus Associates put together the data that we typically provide for you all for the last year. You've seen a little bit of a change in the demographics and a little bit of a change in the last 2 quarters, which would have been the first 2 quarters of this year, in that the percentage of inmates that are participating in the services has decreased a bit. We're hopeful that that will go back up again. I think that part of that is related to the turnover that has happened and the number of inmates that are present in the correctional facility. I think too, part of it is, to some degree related to the people that are currently incarcerated and the environment that is there. I've been actually working personally with a couple of inmates over the last 100+ days or so. And it seems as though there's a bit of a, I don't know, niche or something, I don't know what to call it exactly. That is not in support of treatment, and so we're trying to overcome that. One of the ideas that we're putting forth is to come in and sort of do like an educational group instead of a treatment group, but just the education about what the services are that we can provide, but also just why would you want to quit? Like, why would that be a good idea? Also, just mental health has really taken off in the jail as far as mental health services. And a lot of the inmates are participating in both the mental health services and the addiction services. And some are just participating in the mental health services, which they don't have addiction issues, they're there with mental health issues. So that's been going quite well. In addition, there's just the things that are going on at the correctional center. There's also other things that Agassiz is doing in Balch County right now. In particular, we've started collaboration with Grafton Public School. And we've been going to Grafton Public School to provide services to students. And next year, we hope to also have informational session for teachers regarding substance use disorders in students and how to deal with those, as well as potential treatment for students that have substance use disorders. In the Grafton schools right now, we're treating mental health disorders. And doing that, the school was gracious enough to find room for us on campus in the school, right next to the social worker's office. And so I get to go up there and have our own little space that I get to stay in and see the students there. And then actually they've again been gracious enough to keep that space open over the summer. So I've been able to come up over the summer and continue to see students. So they're allowed into the school, even though school isn't going on. And we have our sessions and then I go back to Grand Park. It's a well-traveled road that day. Okay. So that, in addition, just to try and bring services to the area, we've been doing, and we'll continue doing that. The data collection that we've been doing still indicates that 100% of the inmates that have completed the post-treatment questionnaire believe that treatment while incarcerated has been and will continue to be helpful for them upon their release. So when I think about that, still I keep on waiting for somebody to say, yeah, no, this isn't gonna be helpful. And yet nobody has said that yet in their post questionnaire. So I think that we're doing work, even if it's good work, it's gradual work. Some of the inmates have been transferred to prison at Bismarck, and that they have expressed that they hope to complete treatment while in prison. And then when they get back out, they're coming back this way. And they have requested that they follow up with treatment upon release from prison also. These are people that have been incarcerated, most likely related to driving under the influence. And so, again, many of the inmates have continued to receive either mental health services through the grant or addiction services upon release from the Walsh County Correctional Center. So we have been providing services, even if they're uninsured, to people who have been released directly out of Walsh County into the community. All of the inmates who complete the post-treatment questionnaire indicate improvement with their ability to cope with some of their mental health concerns. So all of them are saying that they're getting some positive and good information. It's just a matter of keeping people sort of on track. One of the things that we have been collecting lately that we didn't before, but have been, is that we have been over 80 hours of appointments scheduled that were not attended by the inmates. And part of that is that the client declined appointment, and what we're finding is that it's hard to keep people in a routine. And one of the things that really helps with mental health and substance use treatment is having a routine. And getting up in the morning and doing what you're supposed to do and keeping it going throughout the day. And unfortunately, what we're finding is a lot of the inmates will be up at night, late, and then won't get up in the morning to participate in their treatment. I would like to work with the correctional officers to maybe try and make a different environment a little bit so that we can help the inmates have more of a structured life so that when they get out from Walsh County, they can reintegrate back into that continued structure instead of being up all night and part of the appointments that have been missed were also because there's different appointments at that time and we weren't notified. Our office manager sends a list of appointments to the Walsh County Correctional Center every Friday for the next week. So they're aware these are when the appointments are set up. I think that part of the issue has been that there isn't a point person at the correctional center that looks at that list and says, yeah, these will all work, or no, this person's got court, or no, this person's got a different appointment with a different doctor, that sort of thing during that time. And so I'd like to be able to work with that. We talked with the correctional center about that previously, but it's difficult because of the shift work that they do, and they don't have just one person. Right now, our point person, honestly, is Joelle from Walsh County Health District, and she's awesome, fantastic. You guys are so lucky to have her. She is great. And she helps a lot with the appointments and that sort of thing, getting the paperwork done. But she's not aware always either of appointments that are happening, so. So that's something that we want to try and increase or increase attendance, decrease the number of sessions that have been missed, because it's a waste of time for everybody.
Madam Chairman, can I ask a question? I'm assuming when you guys have scheduled appointments and they're missed and it's at the fault of Walsh County. We're still paying for those appointment slots, those appointment times?
Yeah.
80 hours is a lot.
It is.
That's a lot of wasted money.
Yeah.
That makes me, that's very disappointing.
So we are, like I said, some of those get rescheduled. And then then it's not spending it. So, but yeah, I think it's something to think about in the future to work on to make sure that we can get that shored up. Because we don't want to not spend our time doing what we want to treating people. That's not our goal. Other happenings, other things that are going on in Walsh County with Agassiz is that we have provided trainings to Walsh County correctional officers on suicide prevention. So we've done that again. That's like sort of an annual thing that we do. We've also, in addition to the suicide prevention related to the inmate population, we've done some training on resilience and how to manage stress with the correctional officers to try and help with that turnover. So part of what I think happens also, because he's, with the lots of appointment times, is the turnover of the correctional officers. There's been a lot of that in the last year or so. And I think that then they get trained in and then they maybe don't know exactly what the protocol is for getting people on board and getting people going into those Zoom sessions. So to try and keep people in the correctional center working, we're trying to help with building resilience and managing stress. We attended the Walsh County Behavioral Health meeting, so there's a behavioral health meeting that's going on now quarterly. We attended that and gave information on services available at Walsh County Correctional Center. And also gave information about UND. I'm working with them, the counseling department, to bring services at low cost to this area, to rural North Dakota, actually, for psychological testing for people that are sure or not sure. And so to bring that again into to the different agencies so that they know that's available for people. We've, like I said, we've provided free services to underinsured students at Grafton High School. So that's something else that we've been doing, and also been, like I said, continued over the summer. We came up and participated in the Grafton Public School Carnival. Have you guys all gone to that? That is super fantastic. It is quite the shindig. I was not expecting that, but it was a lot of fun. And we got to then meet a lot of different organizations in the Grafton area, telling them what we were doing, that we're bringing to the area and what's available. Also, we applied for and received a grant in cooperation with the Walsh County Sheriff's Office to provide mental health services upon request to all Walsh County Sheriff Office employees and retired employees. So the key to this grant is actually the appointments for individuals will be provided in 72 hours of their call in. In addition, we established a lending library for the sheriff's office with books related to resilience and self-care. So there's a little library for all the correcting officers and all of the law enforcement officers. Our goals are to continue to make our presence known in Walsh County, to solidify our positive working relationship and ongoing services. And I think, and I guess that's what I'm kind of hoping today is that for y'all to know that, yes, we started with the Walsh County Correctional Center. We continue to try to bring mental health services to your area. We want that to continue with the high school students, with law enforcement, with Upper Valley. We're working with also with the special education unit to be present and to develop a well-known name in the area as a trusted entity to provide services with people. We want to establish ongoing funding. We've applied for and been rejected for several grants, unfortunately. But we have another funding opportunity that we're working with the Walsh County Health District on. And our plan is to implement the use of the SUD voucher for individual sessions at the Walsh County Correctional Center if we don't have grant funding available to do that. Are you all familiar with the SUD voucher? The SUD voucher is a state program that's payments of last resort is called. And individuals who are incarcerated can apply to be part of the SUD voucher program. One of the stumbling blocks that we have run into is that they have to provide proof of employment if they've been employed in the last 30 days. They have to provide like pay stubs to say if they qualify or not. If they haven't been employed in the last 30 days, then they don't have to provide that. But the SUD voucher then, where providers AAC has been part of that program, and so we can provide services through this voucher program.
I think not everybody knows what SUD is, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry, substance use disorder. The substance use disorder voucher. And so we have actually a system going now with Grand Forks County Correctional Center. It's a packet of information that's sent to, and they have a designated correctional officer that helps the inmates then complete the paperwork. We get it to our office manager and she electronically submits the data so that we can get approval for a voucher so that payment can be made that way. So that's something that we'll continue to do. One of the difficulties with the substance use disorder voucher is that it doesn't provide for telehealth group treatment. It provides for individual treatment. Or through telehealth. One of the other interesting, things that I've heard about is that Minnesota has approved Medicaid to cover mental health treatment in jails. Many of the inmates do have Medicaid, but that gets taken away essentially when they're incarcerated. And so I'd like to work with legislators to get this sort of program also running in our jails in North Dakota. I think that it would help improve healthcare and mental health care and substance use treatment also. But that's another option that we would like to explore as a possibility. We're going to continue to work with the inmates upon release. We do have the outpatient office in Grafton, and people have been participating in that outpatient office. It's right around the corner from the jail, so it's easy to find and easy to locate. Okay, so in addition to the office that we have in school, we also have an office right across the road there. We want to continue to provide additional education. We've made a brochure for the inmates to take as they leave about how to find vocational work post incarceration, what's available to them. Because one of the things is that if we can help them find gainful employment, we are hoping that they would find more of a routine, continue on with their treatment, and continue on to be successful. To provide support to administration staff at Walsh County Correctional Center, we have been providing consultation upon request to different officers about various different things that have been happening, and it's just to try and continue to support them also. Psychological testing has been available and continues in the Walsh County Correctional Center. Maintaining compliance and rules and with the rules and regulations of the Walsh County Correctional Center. There's certain things that we have to do in order to be allowed into the jail system, and so we continue to do those things, make sure that those happen. And as the last goal, like I had already said, we'd like to see a higher rate of treatment compliance and better communication with the correctional officers. Having a dedicated person to communicate with at Walsh County Correctional Center would help with that concern, but I don't know if that's possible right now. Let's see what we can come up with. So connected to that, the barriers of the limited staffing, the telehealth issues that were present have been largely resolved. We've got brand new fancy computers, and they seem to work even through the cement walls. So we've got telehealth working, and we have headsets for inmates if they want, so that they can feel like it's more private for them. I spoke about the communication between Agassiz and Walsh County, and we're working on that. The group programming hasn't been happening due to space limitations and client personalities. And so we hope to get that back going as soon as some of the client personalities are shaped out. There's been a lot of change just recently in the last couple of weeks. But when you're considering your new jail, if this is something that's actually going to happen, which would be wonderful, having space for group treatment within the jail, having actual dedicated space would be wonderful. I think that would help significantly with comfort, with people being able to pay attention, with being able to visualize who's there if you are providing it through telehealth, but also just give the space that's necessary just to consider that. There have been, despite some of the barriers, there have been many successes. There's an overall increase in percentage of participation last year, and we hope to see an increase again this year. We're continuing to provide necessary psychological testing. Inmates have been quite understanding that this isn't a forensic evaluation. This isn't for court. This isn't to get them out of anything. This is simply to help them have a better life once they get out of incarceration. To continue to have that outpatient office present in Grafton. continue to kind of correspond with community resources and make them aware of the services in Grafton Public Schools. The low cost psychological assessments to those in need. So establishing an in-person presence, I know that that's important to you all. And so, like I said to Ellen earlier, it's like my vehicle knows the way up to Grafton. It's just like push go, and we're trying to be here, not only connecting with the correctional center, but with staff and administration in the schools to try and start prevention early in this area. The other thing that we're working on and just finishing up is a protocol for suicidal inmates in Welch County. In the Welch County Correctional Center, there was a sort of a semi-protocol put forth, but it was difficult to follow through on because of the nature of the steps involved. And so we've taken that with Joelle, the Welch County Health District nurse, and have put into place some simplistic yet effective steps to make sure that our inmates remain safe when they're incarcerated, if they're having some suicidal ideation, and how ways they can play their role in that.
Are there any questions for Heidi? Very good report, Heidi.
Thank you. I really do enjoy working with your community. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it, and hope to continue to work with you all in the near future and the far future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So hopefully in your packets, you received my draft of an opioid savings plan. Did that come through? Kelsey that passed it on. So as you know, Walsh County does receive dollars for the essentially the national opioid settlement that was reached. Christie and I communicated back and forth, and I think, what was it you said to date, Christie, $57,340.67 has been received.
Since we last talked, we've received another 1,441.44, so
Okay.
to 58,782.11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you know, the requirements that go with this is that, you know, counties are to work with their health districts to implement an opioid settlement funds plan. There's no real guidelines out there for it, other than it has to fall within, you know, a certain amount of activities that essentially address opioids. Well, we do already receive some funding through the health district that I listed, the state opioid response grant. So I just wanted to put out those activities that we're already doing as a part of this. And then my recommendation is kind of below there of what we would use the funding for to benefit Walsh County, again, to bolster. I mean, I think you hear the benefits of what Agassiz provides. And we've all talked, at least individually or as a group, about how the need to sustain this somehow. I realize this is not the level of funding that probably is needed for the full on what we have, but it certainly is a start. And I'm confident that Heidi and myself can work together to make it work with, you know, in public health. Over the years, we get used to working on a shoestring budget, and we just make the most out of each dollar. So that would be a large portion of the funding. And then in addition there, a lot of health units and health districts are getting on board with Credible Mind, which is relatively inexpensive. Joelle and I have actually seen demos from them. You're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 a year, and you essentially get a full-on website that anyone in Walsh County can access and do mental health assessments, be pointed towards resources, this kind of thing. On the backside, we get some non-identifying data that comes back to us of what are the mental health issues in Walsh County, age groups, all this really good material. So that would be my other goal. So I guess what I'm looking for from the commission today is approval of this plan, because it does need to be submitted to the state opioid settlement committee. Several other counties have already done it, but I was working on putting this together and obviously getting approval first, so.
I just, Madam Chairman, at our health board, we had talked about this a little bit too, and the board there thought it was a good idea, so I'll make a motion, we go ahead and do what we have to do to get this funding for help.
Second. Any more discussion?
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Ellen, with the Credible Mind, I'm just looking at the site right now, it looks great, is there an app, or, I mean, is there anything that can?
You know, honestly, Amy, it's been over a year since I saw the demo,
Okay.
so I wanna say yes, that there is an app that goes with it.
It looks like there's like
It says,
podcasts
yeah,
and
it
things.
says in here, the program provides access to a comprehensive collection of apps, videos, podcasts, articles, books, and other resources referring to diagnosis and treatment.
Yeah. I remember the demo being quite robust.
So. Okay, any more questions? And now I'll call for the roll. Denny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Thank you much.
Yes,
Thanks, Alan.
You know,
Everything's still working right?
Yes, I'm gonna try to plug it in. A different way.
but the heater,
Okay.
No. Enormous. I have a blanket here. so- Okay, Jason, take her away.
Your exercises done this morning.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Need some more.
One more. Wow.
Oh, we lost our auditor, so we'll wait here.
she got out.
Yeah, it should work. Good. Not that, oh, like that's how they make the shoes.
Okay, we have Jason and we have 49 pages of. Plus one more,
Plus three more.
3 more.
First, I want to start out with, just something to help out with, upcoming projects that we have going on for bridges, and I'll turn over to Wade for some right of ways and bridge work.
So for the three BRJ projects that we had, that are working on design right now, bidding in December, hopefully, that's not confirmed yet, but that's what the tentative schedule is right now. We just have to get a little bit of right away at each site, no different than the usual ones. Usually it's just where there's a little bit of riprap at the end of the box culverts, things like that. So we have to go through the process where we get waiver valuations for the land, so that it's all fair. There's 3 different sites. The number that I came up with is on the back of each of the sites. We have to go through this process. Typically, it still ends up being the federal minimum or permanent acquisition at 600, and for temporary it's 300. I think there's one of them there that came in at an average of 5,000 an acre, or 6,000, sorry. So if we have over a 10th, we might be just slightly over that value, but typically we are at a 10th or less for the amount of right of way that we need. We're not realigning any roadways. These ones are typically they're all on the section line within a foot or two. So I don't anticipate it being much different. So I just wanted to show you the values that we had for it. It's all based on land sales within, some of them you have to stretch a little bit farther. We like to have 4 in that area, as close as we can. And so that's how we come up with the values. And yeah, I guess basically just looking for a motion to approve the values, and then we'll continue with landowner discussion and various things like that.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I would make a motion to accept these values for the.
No, second.
Any more questions for Wade? For the approval of the one values? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carried.
Great, appreciate it, and like I said, if there's other questions, you know, feel free to reach out and ask if there's something that you see later that you don't understand, so.
Well, that's all. Start with the permits list that we have, and the stuff that was in your packet. The first permit was application is a utility permit from CHS Powerline. It's for a power line from Otter Tail for the elevator services going underneath County 11. They'll be deep, so we won't have to worry about any future construction projects or anything like that. I have no issues with this boring that they'll be doing, so. Look for, permission to, or for a signature from Karen on this one, I guess.
Do I have a motion to accept this? Second, please.
I'll second.
Any more questions on the utility permit? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Thank you. Start with the drainage permits. Carl Unruh has one for County Road 8, section 35 in Fertile Township. It's also associated with a small drain tile project that he was working with the water board and has been approved for. Just do a small bit of ditch clean out so that his pumps can flow to the existing culvert, go underneath the road and go to the north to the existing places. I have no issues with what Carl has proposed.
I think we'll just do all the drainage
Okay.
permits and then.
Sounds good.
Motion.
Stephen Schuster is the next one. It's on County 15, section 27 in Harrison Township. As to clean out, land just to the west of drain tile pump, so that it'll flow between two culverts. I have no issues with what he's looking for. The next is the long list.
Jason, can I interrupt you?
Sure.
I've got, how many drain permits does John Fricky have here?
7.
Okay, just making sure. So this is, did we discuss, that's all in one of these drain? Okay.
Each one of them is separate, because each one of them has different spot aspects.
Oh, okay. I heard
Yeah,
Carl Unruh and then I went to John Fricky,
Okay.
sorry.
yeah, no, Steve Schuster was the one
Okay.
before that. On 15. With John Fricky, he's got the County 6, section 29 in Grafton. County 8, section 6 in Grafton Township, County 6, section 21 in Grafton Township. County 9, section 36 in Glenwood. County 8 and 9, that's the section of 36 in Glenwood. It's County 11, and section 11 in Fertile Township. County 6, section 6 in Wall Center. All of these are to address below dirt from the spring. They're not changing any directions of any flows or anything like that. It's just cleaning up below dirt. The next one in there is Travis Utter. That should be the last from inside your packet. This is for his County 4, section 23 in Martin Township. This is to replace an existing culvert that they have. There's an existing concrete culvert there that is separated. They just want to replace with a longer culvert for the same size. Not doing anything else to it, but the same depths and everything else. So I have no issues with that one. And then last one of the drainage permits I have for you today is the extra one that I handed out to you. That is from Leonidas on County 15, section 26 in Harrison Township. This is a full mile, and that's also for Boulder from this spring. No issues with that one as well. So we'll look for motion for signatures on all the drainage permits.
Do I have a motion to accept these drainage permits?
I'll make the motion we accept it.
I'll second.
Thank you. The next,
Any more discussion?
Yeah, I guess I'd like to add something. When you look at all these drainage permits, and most of them this year have all been bloaters. I just hope our local farmers will look at this and take into consideration the valuable product they're losing and going into our ditches. Maybe it's the time we look at different farming practices or whatever, it's horrible, it's way too much happening.
it's, people say it's just on this end, but from spots that I've gone out and talked to people, I was actually hoping to see a few more permits. I know that there's one spot in particular where there's over a foot of material inside the ditch for it's all bouldered over the years. It's not just from this last spring, it was so horrible. It's from the years of buildup, but it's over a foot deep, and then they have issues with with water flows and fields drowning out. And there's no spots in the culverts that are there that are in good condition for the water to get to, because there's no ditch for it to get to.
Not only that, how much does this bloater cost the county and the townships on their gravel roads? Big time. Yeah.
Madam Chairman, Jason, can you just explain, like, is there a general process of how they're recouping the boat? I mean, are they just going in and with a backhoe to try to pull it back? Is it everyone different or?
Everyone's different. Some have the equipment where it's a box scraper, some have access to backhoes, some have track hoes. It's whatever they have available. Some people contract out, but it's very, very few. It's getting to be now. Pretty much everybody has a level of some sort or a box blade where they can go and do it. In all honesty, some of the farmers have better equipment than we have for cleaning out ditches. With their laser levels and things that they have, they can set it, put their coordinates in and go and be done a lot faster than we would ever be able to do that same work, so.
Some of us was so dipped they couldn't have done it with the scraper, they needed backhoes.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have had to get backhoes for the work, but there are a lot of companies that own their own backhoes now, so.
Any more questions? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Ernie?
Yes.
Christie?
Yeah.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Thank you. The next on the agenda is the North Dakota DOT April inspection billing. It's for 4 bridges, I believe, for $424.76. The bigger expenditures from these inspections will be coming. We still have, I think 100 bridges that they have to inspect yet this year. So. Just the first ones of them. This is for this billing now. And August is for April inspections.
Do I have a motion to pay this bill?
So moved.
Second.
Remember, I'm not calling for a second, I'd just rather have somebody speak up and give me a second. Any more questions or discussion?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
Jason, how many bridges is this for then? You said there's 100.
This is for 4.
Four.
And this is just our cost share of it. And some of these inspections can be a couple $100 to a couple of $1,000, depending on the level of inspections they have to do. Some of our bridges are now to the point where they are an annual inspection. So every year it has to be inspected. Other are 2 years. Box culverts and aluminum box culverts are 4. And this is just for the ones that are over 20. So we have 207 of them in the county and 129 were inspected this year. We'll probably have over 100 be inspected next year.
Okay, any more questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll. Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
The next 2 items are just more updates than anything for you. The next 2 are not good news at all. The Highway 9 Drain 48 box culvert for that bridge replacement that we've been waiting for 2 years now. We've just got notifications from the contractor that they will not be providing us the concrete box until the end of October. we will not have it in August. I've talked to Wade about it. We've run through different ideas we can think of to try and do something else. And basically at this point, we are, well, basically just stuck. I reached out to the firm to see what better numbers and better times. But with this information, the likelihood of us having it replaced before harvest is 0. And in all honesty, to have it done by next spring is in jeopardy for planting. Depending on the type of spring we have and the type of fall we have. We can be back 6 months. It is out for bid. We're gonna continue to keep it out for bid. My reason for keeping it out for bid is once we get a contractor lined up for it. 2, like Wade mentioned earlier, there's other projects coming out December 13th. From the last time we were told by DOT before everything got moved back. At that point in time, from what I understand, there are 17 different projects across the state that were bid on that day. There are 3 bridge contractors. I want to see if we can get somebody in the area and keep their attention so we can keep them here. I will not be the only person doing this, I'm sure. But that's just where we're at. Not happy about it, but at the same point in time, there's nothing we can do about it. They got delayed because of the rains and the problems with down in Marshall, their plants in Minnesota and Iowa, and they have no ways to make it up. So that's just where we're at. So we're let you know that bad news. The second bad news for you is last week we had a local farmer call us. We appreciate this. He said he saw something hanging from the bottom of the bridge and he was right. 2 of the beams are hanging from the bottom of it. 4-inch by 12-foot beams that are doubled up right next to each other have snapped. Before we reached out to Wade KLJ, reach out to DOT, they gave us the bridge rating models so we can come up with the repair options. We think we have a good one that'll come up with it for replacing it with steel beams that we already have in the north lots. We're gonna have to wait for those. There's possibility we can get that back up and running soon. We just gotta wait for some final calculations and different things on that, but that one will require us to take the entire bridge deck off, put the steel in and put it back together.
So our guys would do that?
And the good news is it'll be a smaller bridge than they've always done this year with the Herd Bridge. So it won't take as long. It should be, once we can get everything going, it's a 1-week project. Provided the weather lets us get down the road to the bridge, because it's dirt roads to it. So, those are the ones we have. So this one's right in Mount Vernon Township. Right at the county line on the junction of 151st and 78th, which is just north of Auburn, northeast of Auburn, 3 miles from County 81. So, but that's what I have for those. Then we have a bridge class, it just happened, that was been scheduled, that is, we're holding tomorrow. And it just so happens that this bridge has made its way into the planning session and the training session, so. Actually, both of these last 2 bridges will be going.
That's not a good honor.
It's not, but, it's nice having LTAP coming here, Wade will be involved with it and getting some more training for all of our staff, so we can. Advance ourselves and everybody else and DOT and LTAP know we have plenty of bridges for them to choose from. I told them anytime they wanna have a class, we'll hold it. So.
That's good.
Whichever style they want, we got it. So that's what I have for those updates for you today.
Madam Chairman, I got a question for Wade. On Highway 18 there, right by George Midbo's. There, Grand Forks County or the High State Highway replaced those culverts. Have you seen that? Instead of rock, they used almost like poured cement. It's almost like a whole cap and it's on both sides of the ditch.
Yeah,
Is that something new or is that better than rock or?
it's better, but it's probably
Expensive?
5 times as expensive.
Okay.
Um,
Well, they've had a lot of trouble there, so that's what I was thinking.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I've driven by it and it's been blown
I
up.
don't know.
So yeah, I think that was why it's a pretty unique case. Trying to remember that, I think that project, just putting those end sections on was like $250,000.
Wow.
So, I know it's expensive, but I think they got sick of trying to replace it. But,
So do they pour them right there, or do they bring that poured pre-poured, or?
no, they pour them right there.
Hey,
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to ask you on it, so. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions for Jason?
I guess I would have two updates. They're gonna do that patchwork on 15.
Yes, I should mention that, 15 starting on Monday, we will close Highway 15 between Minto and Boss to. Remove some of the gravel and put patches back in the asphalt before. Pre-plow starts on Tuesday. So. Hopefully the weather plays nice and we'll get that closed and started up. We'll be doing skin patches there, starting in Boss. We have one on 19, over by Interstate and 54 at the junction there. The guys are doing a dig out for that one today, so that one will be ready for next week. The bridge by North of Adams, where we had to make the abutment repairs, that one will be done, and a couple by Fairdale, a couple on number 9, so. And the next week we'll have staff out doing the weight patches and shoring up asphalt pieces that way, so. We'll start losing our summer staff girls this week. Lose 2 of them this week and 2 of them after next week, so. I haven't convinced Eric to stay a little bit longer, just get a time from him yet. He said the 23rd yesterday, but I asked him if that was October or November. He just smiled and laughed at me, but just want to take this time to thank them for the work that they've done for us this year. So.
Okay. I had one question about the Casho Bridge culvert, box culvert. So do you let all the farmers around you know what's happening or keep them updated, or are they calling you?
There's a few women that I'm always in contact with,
Okay.
but I have not contacted everybody that's been there.
Mhm.
Basically Todd is very helpful for me for getting this information out. in these meetings. So I was hoping we could possibly have some other information before today's, but we don't.
Okay. Okay. Nothing else, we will move along then. Thanks, Wade. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. We'll take a couple minute break here. back to order. Let me just get it up here. Next on our agenda, we have the Prairie Timber Rates Property Tax Incentive Application.
Yeah.
Did everybody get a chance to read that? It's for our information. City of Park River. Their Prairie Timber Rates is requesting the city of Park River 100% tax. 100% tax exemption for 10 years. Walsh County, based on its levies, would shows you what it is. They're asking for a 10-year tax incentive. If there's no objection, they will continue on. If the commission chooses to participate in this matter, please provide a letter indicating such interest and a representative, and then a meeting is. There will be a public meeting on August 19th at noon. So then, 30 days of the notice, each affected county, township, and school district must notify the city in writing whether it elects to participate in discussions. If no letter is received, the city must treat each county, township, or school district as participating in the tax incentive. So do I have a motion to participate in the tax incentive?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? I will attend that August 19th meeting if anybody else wants to attend. It's an open meeting, which they're welcome to come to, so. You all saw what the Prairie Timber Rights property, Prairie Timber Rights business will be. They intend to mill logs into usable timbers, slabs, and lumber for purposes of construction. I can't talk today. Constructing timber, frame structures, furniture, firewood, mantles, and saleable lumber. So a new business coming to Park River. I'll ask for the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried.
Karen, you said August 19th?
Yes, August
What
19th
time of
at
day is it?
noon,
Hmm.
noon at City Hall. I got that information by certified mail. Okay, we will move on to our preliminary budget approval. I don't think I've had enough coffee, I know, it's cold and my tongue is crazy.
Put the blanket on your mouth.
So preliminary budget and, I'll let Christie take it.
Okay, so first off, I wanted to let you guys know, and I did include this in the packet. I noticed when I was updating the centrally assessed, so that's the utilities that the state puts the dollar amount on the assessed value. I noticed, seemed like it was less, and I was right. They did decrease, which that means that our valuation did decrease, by about 276,000. I don't have it exactly in front of me. So our valuation, as of right now, and this is, the state can still change. We have entered all of our centrally assessed values in, but I believe they have until the end of the year to make any final changes. So this isn't a final mill value, but it is $66,736. So it went down like $275-ish per mill because of it. Because it is such a large dollar amount, I did provide you guys what the assessed value from the state was for 2023 as well as 2024, just to show you guys, MNDAC and NODAC, their amounts, they just pay a set dollar amount. And that did increase, so that did increase. The biggest change, they're all right around between 850 to 900,000, between the railroads, the pipeline, and that's that Montana, Dakota Utilities and Otter Tail. So that was disappointing yesterday when I ran those numbers again and saw that. And with that, then that did put some funds over the max levy allowed. So there's gonna have to be a discussion on some of that. So I don't know what's the best to go. Maybe I'll just go through this sheet with you guys instead of going through each one individually to start. So county general, when I updated the estimated tax value, there was some changes to the budget dollar amount, based off of those salaries that Tanya provided at the last meeting. So the final would be $6,166,507. And when I adjusted the valuation to the correct value, it came in at right at 60.00. So there's no room left. The change in mill from last year was 0.26. Then capital projects, I just, since that's just gets transferred out into the improvement fund. I kept the budget at 670,000. And that bumped with the valuation change, that bumped it to 10.02. So that's over. We can adjust that one on the transfer, the dollar amount that it is expected to go into the capital improvement fund.
Okay.
So that one, there's no expense at
That's
this
an
point, so
easy-
that one would be, fairly easy. Vet services stayed this, the budget amount stayed the same. So the proposed budget for this year is 1.78 mils, and that is up the 0.91 mils. And that was based off of cutting it drastically last year. County agent.
So, excuse me, so that's one we'll have to look at.
It is under the two. It's under the two.
Oh, yeah,
max
okay, it
levy.
is under.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
under the two, yeah.
Okay.
But it was an increase from last year,
Okay.
is what's in the red. County agent, there were no changes to the budget as well, but with the valuation, it went to 1.99 mils. And the max levy limit is 2 mils for that one. So that's in change from last year to 0.44. Weed control had some salary changes. So the budget was altered a little bit. So the 2025 budget is $241,142.40. With the new valuation, that puts it at 2.73 mils, which is a decrease of 0.14 from last year. And then road and bridge had some changes to their salary lines as well. And that is, so the budget comes in at $3,313,101.15. And with the new valuation, that bumps it to 30.12. And 30 is the max levy that's allowed for that one. And if I remember correctly, we were right on the 30 last, so that's where that went into. So the way it sits right now, if I subtract the capital projects over and the road and bridge overage, the total is 106.5 proposed for 2025. In 2024, it was 114.28. Then we can do.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I think we need to remember though, that's because we're losing those 10 mills in highway funds, right?
Correct.
So it's not like we're reducing our mills. Essentially, we need to try to put that back to the vote of the people to get those 10 mills back. Or I'll be operating on a highway budget with 30 mills instead of 40, is that
Yes,
correct?
correct.
We've always had 40.
Yes,
Cause if we do the vote of the people, they gotta remember, if we do the 10 or whatever, they're not gonna be paying any more than they are now.
Right, it's just basically transferring it from
Transferring
one
back up.
fund to another.
Right.
correct.
Cause everybody will say, well, gee, you're increasing it right away, and that's gonna be the no, but no, you're paying it now, we're gonna lose it. Well, if we lose it, whenever we do the vote, but we're trying to maintain what we're doing now.
Well, yeah, what we were working with, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that would be off of the capital projects. The max levy is 10, but with the vote of the people, we can ask for 10 additional
Right.
mills for that.
So let's say we go to the vote of the people, hopefully it passes. If it does, that would put us at 116.5 mils then, so we'd actually be over last year's, and I guess I don't care to be over last year's, I don't want to increase if we don't have to. But to me, the way I look at it, we go 116.5, last year our mills were 114.28, that's a difference of 2.22 mils, so to me, we need to be looking at some cuts. That's the way I see this, I don't know about the rest of you, but.
it's a different mill value. Does that make a difference?
Well, whether you talk mills or dollars, it's still, we gotta cut somewhere.
We've got to cut somewhere.
And we can do that after we do the preliminary, because we can't go up, we can't go down.
Yes, yes, so I would agree with that. I
Yep.
think that, at the very least, there will have to be additional budget meetings to start now weeding through the budgets.
Right, because if somebody just looks at this, they're gonna be like, oh, well, gosh, you're under the mills from last year, but. Really,
We lost the.
we lost
Yeah.
those 10.
Yeah.
so,
If we don't get it, then we will be under.
Yeah,
And that'll.
but then we have to try to run a highway department with 10 less mills, that's gonna be.
Not
Really
even
hard.
fun.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that,
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
that we're all on the same book and page there.
And then, so then the others, the countywide ones, obviously their mills didn't, or their budget did not change. But when I entered the updated valuation, the health district is gonna be, proposed as 2.08, which is, down 0.43 from last year. Historical Society, that valuation put it right at 0.25, and so that is the max levy that is allowed. Senior Citizen, again, does not need to levy anything this year, or for 2025, I'm sorry. JDA, again, their budget didn't change since the last meeting. Proposed levy would be 5.06. Max levy is 4, so they would only get the 4 mills for that one. Water Resource District, with the change in the valuation, it bumped it to 4.02. So they would only be allowed to get the 4. And both JDA and Water Resource, they did get 4 last year as well, so that it stayed the same, or it will stay the same. Soil Conservation District, with their budget amount and the lower value, it puts it at 2.71. Which is 0.21 higher than it can be at 2.5. So those 3 would obviously only be allowed to do those max levies. And then the State Medical Center, that also, we have no control over that one, and that continues to stay at 1. So with the JDA, if I subtract all of the mills that went over, the total is 13.83 for countywide. And last year it was 14.49. The biggest thing for that one is the health district went down, and then the senior citizens are not doing any mill levies for this year. So that is countywide, and then we do have 3 other levies that are specific to, your location of your property. So Red River Basin, I would say, I'm just guessing like 97%-ish of Walsh County is underneath that, tax district. And that proposed, so the joint water 1 and 2, their combined mill valuation is the 66,736. So the joint water, their proposed mill value for 2025 is actually $64,979. And with that updated value, their proposed is 1.04, which is down 0.86 from last year. And then the Devil's Lake Basin, that one, their mill levy is $1,757. And we have enough reserve, in their account, in that fund, to again assess no taxes for those. And then county library, the county library is assessed, for all properties excluding the city of Grafton and city of Park River. So we have to decrease their values by those two city values. So the county library mill value is $52,342. And with that valuation, it jumped the proposed levy to 2.33 mils, which is an increase of 0.31 from last year. That is where we're sitting.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
So we haven't talked about the sheriff's budget at all. That was information that was going to be brought back to us this meeting, so I guess, I don't know if we're gonna get an update on that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm wondering is, when you plug these numbers in, you use Tanya's numbers for the salaries, like we said, right?
Correct. Yes, yep, correct. So I went through, there was, I don't remember, a handful of, positions that had an increase. So I went in and I, changed all of those values, to, go with Tanya's numbers. With that, it, at first it increased we were over the 60, but we had used, emergency management's higher numbers for the original presentation. So with that, it was able to drop it. So, it pretty much was a wash between, the funds and for county general. Between having overstating, the emergency management and then adding what Tanya had found in her study. So it didn't, really affect the mill there. So. If that makes sense, did I explain that right? Yeah. So I did provide you guys, so in your packets, there are the updated. So that is just the, so this, Ernie, is just, the calculation, spreadsheet that I work on, but in your binder, there are updated
Okay.
budgets. I don't know if we wanna go through that and look at that. So I mean, just for sake of, let's just start from the beginning maybe and work our way back. It might just be easier for having, if we go to the state attorney's budget, that was the first one in our binder that was changed. So when you're looking at the updated one, the number in red is what it was, when I presented it the last time. And that is the updated amount. The one at that fund 1,041,43,030, that 2,500. That one, when Kelly presented it, she had handwritten that in there, so it was originally presented to you guys with that 2,500, or I'm sorry, with the 3,250. My paperwork just didn't have it updated, so that.
So which number are we using?
The 3250. What's on the right hand side, the 2025 request for this budget is what is
Far
requested.
left.
Yeah.
Far right, far right.
So what we're using on the far right, and the red numbers are just.
What it was, what we presented last time, so
Okay,
you guys could see the difference
okay,
between them.
gotcha.
Yeah, so, so that one is the state's attorney's budget, that went up. Keep going. Then the next would be, buildings and grounds. And that one, the only salary that was increased would have been, Mickey's. So, it was originally presented, in the red there, and the updated based off of Tanya was the 54,840. We can go to the sheriffs, that's the next one. So the admin assistant, that, line went up. So it was increased to the 52,260.
Oh, wait, I'm not on the right one. What did you say you went to?
I'm sheriffs.
Or
Second page. One in there.
wasn't tapped, right? And am I on the right one, Sheriff?
Second page.
Second page? No, you're not.
Behind Sheriff tab, correct?
Yeah,
Second page behind Sheriff tab? Yeah,
I can give you,
I must have something different than
Suda,
you.
well, is Suda's name under the?
I'll just give you mine and then
I have suit on the first page.
Okay, then that's what it is.
put in red.
Is it
No,
red?
no, yeah, red, 4802
That's what
four.
it is, yes.
Okay, it's mine was just first page, okay.
That's all. Perfect. So yeah, so that one, I highlighted that. The next line down, the 004, that is an open position, but it will be filled, so, and that salary actually, stayed the same, so there was no change on that one.
Can we just back up a minute?
Yeah.
To suit us? So in the red is what Jason proposed, correct? The 48024?
It,
Alright, Ron, excuse me, Ron, sorry.
well, that was the original pay scale for Ron did not use, he used the pay scale that was presented,
Oh,
right?
The step and cola.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so that was
yeah.
the step and cola, and then the 52,260 is based on the market survey done by Tanya.
By time,
Okay.
yes, yep, exactly. There's that one, and then, the next page, we've got, 036, so Tanya, Ron and myself sat down and, tried to figure out a way to make this work. I don't know if Ron wants to explain, I have no problem. But
What page are we on?
so it is the bonuses, new hire and referral. The fund is 1,042.11,025. Or 024, I guess.
What we did, we sat down and discussed how with the market study, we could. So this discussion was about getting the people with rotating shifts more money somehow. So because we've only had, since the beginning of our retention bonuses, we've only paid out one retention bonus. So the thought was to try and get the people, so we were focusing on the people that were doing rotating shifts. The night shift per se. And so that excludes anybody that's not, that's only working days. We worked, so what we did is we put that money into we
we made it a retention bonus then. And paid everybody a $300 per month retention bonus. And that's
Just those who were on the night shift.
correct.
How many were there?
There's 6, right? 6 plus which raises the 2 and Park River also.
Yeah, was it, that's, I can't remember, I looked at so many numbers.
Was it 8? 6.
I can't pull up my email.
$300 per retention per day,
Per month.
I mean, per month,
Okay.
per employee.
I think it was, yeah, 6 or 8, I don't remember.
Okay, it doesn't matter, approximately, it's here.
So basically, it's our deputies working night shift.
Correct.
And then Ron did cut from his special grant drug line.
So to make it work within the budget, I pulled some up from my budget to put into that fund to fully fund that. To make it work within my budget.
Okay, so originally that fund ending in 036. It was presented for 5,000 and now it's 23,600. And then fund ending in 050 was originally presented at 6,000 and the request now is for 2,400.
Everybody got that?
So we were originally looking at 11,000 between the two funds, right? Now we're looking at about 26,000.
Exactly 26.
Yes.
Okay.
With the retention, 5,000 added in, included in there.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
so technically 5,000 less of that would be additional. You know.
That is correct, yes.
And then we looked at the policing contract revenue. And that revenue was it like 11,000, so that technically would cover, that's why we stayed around that 11,000, because the sheriff's department is getting that revenue from policing and other cities. So that was kind of the justification behind it, right?
It is,
My
yes.
understanding, right?
And Madam Chairman,
Yes.
wasn't that increased recently? The amount or not? Was that
No,
something else?
no.
Okay.
No, we have not increased that in quite some time.
Well, I certainly feel that, you know, somebody working the night shift deserves an additional $300 a month. That's at least. That's not an easy.
And we heard Heidi talk about turnover. I mean, I think anytime it comes to people and our employees and who we're trying to incentivize and hire and keep, that's where I see the budget. Making it work.
And part of why we talked about the, just that bonus type, it's not gonna get, the retirement. The county won't have to pay the additional 13% on the retirement, because that's over and above the salary. So that was kind of our thought process to try to keep costs down as well, was to have it not part of the salary and then revisit it next year so that it's not stuck within their salary. Because at one point we were looking at increasing salaries for them. And then the more we talked, the more we thought maybe this would be better. They are getting that back the blue monthly payment right now. That will be done at the end of the year. So we kind of went off of that principle and.
So I guess I just want to be careful. This isn't a bonus, it's a retention.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Retention.
employees hear bonus in one area, then, you know, it is a retention
Yeah.
allocation or.
Yeah,
Yes.
payment, yes, yes, I guess.
So does this cover the bonuses that you wanted? Or not bonuses, raise salaries, you got that bone.
Well, it's not a raise in salaries, right?
Yeah, but
Yes.
to be competitive with where we wanna be, put it that way.
I think, this is a good start, and I think it's focused on where I see there's a need. So yes, I appreciate working with Christie and Tanya on this. We worked really hard to try and come up with something that was, that would work with the budget and, try and focus on where I thought there was a need. So, I thought yes, I think it takes care of a lot of my items that I wanted to cover, yes.
Do you feel like we've been competitive enough? Hopefully we don't lose people.
Hopefully,
Okay,
that's our hope, yes.
sounds good.
So I'm looking, then it's about an extra $3,600 a year per employee, right?
Correct.
So if we have 6 employees, 21,600 is the increase.
Correct.
Money well spent. I like the idea that you guys came up with.
Yeah.
I agree. Any more questions? On the sheriffs? Do we have any more? I think so.
There is a Park River one.
With the same concept, we transferred it over to the 2 Park River deputies also. So that's. We take care of that also.
You're still short one there, right?
I am.
Yeah.
So that would be a first round.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions, thank you.
Thank you. Blair have their kind of in the right order, but the next would be the emergency management. Let's see here.
Is that county park? If they happened.
I think it should have been.
Okay.
I am.
I think they're all okay. I don't think that.
Right here, this, I think this one.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, oops, sorry. Okay, so. This one, we didn't, it took a little bit more for me to, make it look nice. But since this isn't the final, I thought it'd be okay. So when you're looking at this budget now, the numbers on the left, the very left numbers are the numbers that are worked into the budget. The ones on the right are the ones that what was originally presented to you, so it's off. It's a little different, this one, it was. So
Presented to us from Brent, is that what you're saying?
originally, yeah, from on the January 31st, when I gave the first presentation, that was when we worked the numbers. Oh, no, July 31st, I'm sorry, thank you, yeah, seems like 6 months ago. Okay, so, the first one, the salary line, for 001. There wasn't much of a difference between that one.
But we are using the number on the left.
Yes,
Okay.
for these, and then once this is approved, then I'll go in and retype it all, I just didn't wanna, in case there's gonna be more changes.
Okay, so can I clarify? That's 64,689, and that's just the COLA and step?
Yeah.
Or is it just COLA? Maybe he's at the top of his steps, I'm not sure. Are you at the top of your steps?
And capital, yes.
You
Yeah.
tapped out
It's just a
2%, okay, all right.
And then the next line would be, the Crystal's part-time, or part of this line, I guess. And that's based off of the step. And for 2%. And that came in at $14,076. So those are the only two things that change on this budget line. So that decreased the budget to $95,065. And then it was where, we can go on to the dispatch, that's where a lot of the, issue, or not issue, a lot of the change happened, was in dispatch. Let me look, I might have it. That's on the next tab, if you guys go to the LEC tab, that, the full one will be there.
So don't use this.
Yeah, right, yeah, go to the LEC and then you'll have the first and second page, yep. So then, down at the bottom, now we're gonna look at the dispatch. It is the same, but it's the way that it's labeled, your binders. So, with that, then, the first salary line, we did drop that to, I believe it was a step 5.
Step 5.
Yeah, a step 5, due to a retirement. So
To.
the 49,812
Cause
Why
the
was it-
current is gonna be retired.
retiring.
Right, okay, so that will be at a step 5.
At step 5, yep.
The new one will be lower.
Yep, correct,
Right.
yep, and we weren't sure where to put that, After talking with Tanya, and Brent, we felt that a step 5 would be safe. And then the next line is the lead dispatch as a step 20. We made sure to include that in the budget there. And all the other ones are just a step and the 2% based off of what Tanya presented at the last meeting.
So it was increased though,
Correct.
not just a step in 2%. It
No.
was,
No, her updated,
Adjusted.
her updated pay scale that she provided us is what we used for that one, yes.
So it was an updated pay scale
Yeah.
as far as the steps. And then a 2%.
So in other words, if you look at the bottom. She was adopted 47,208, you'll go up to 52,860.
Yeah.
I'm right? Just so I get it clear in my mind.
Yes, yeah, so the very last one, yes, so,
Okay,
yep, 52,860 is what
Yep.
that step would be for that position. And with that one, with those changes. It decreased the dispatch line, by $32,000, to $455,662.
but realistically, if we're looking at this, we should be looking at. What did we have for last year versus this year, right? When you say it decreases it, it's just decreasing it from what Brent gave us numbers. So-
Yeah, what the original presentation was, that is correct.
So what are we looking at from last year then versus this year?
In 2024, the adopted was 531,338 is the third set number.
Yep, yep, see it lower. And now we're at 455,662. But that was because he moved, wasn't it like 100,000 or something, over there? Am I mistaken? Didn't we move,
The benefits.
benefits got moved? So it's not like he's having a decrease in his overall budget. We shifted funds. But is that correct, Brent? I mean, didn't you move like 100,000 or something on here? I don't remember that.
Well, in 23, employee benefits were 136,239.
And
That was 100,000 and then it's 0. So that was that remove that 4,600.022 on there.
Where's she at?
Next page. Page 2,
The total.
yeah, where the total.
So this is 2023 adopted, this is,
okay.
and then this is 24 numbers right there. And then,
Can we go, so when we put, Goodwin's salary or step 20, did we move her up to?
She was a step 20, but you were calculating the lead position with her for the time being,
Yeah.
help
Just to be sure that, because that was.
make sure that we allocate enough funds for
Correct.
whether she gets the position or somebody else gets it, it's not.
Okay,
Yeah,
But that would be the highest anybody would be able to get for
okay,
a lead position.
yeah,
okay.
yeah, so we just felt like it was important to do it that way,
Yep.
just so that,
We're covered.
yeah.
We covered it.
Yeah, exactly, and then that open position too, there's an open position right now, and we, budgeted that one as at a step 2. Typically, they're coming in at a step 1, but
And I think it's budgeted at step 5 also.
this one is,
Is it the same as Amy's salary?
I don't think it should have been.
I think that was number for there. Maybe.
Should be step 2. That user calculator on there. For the step 2, can you add, do 37, or so 3,706 times 12.
44,470.
And then divide that by 2.
22,236.
It should have been a 2, so that was my mistake. It should be a 2. So what is that? Amy?
22,236.
Or did we do did we do trained? That was an untrained, try the dispatch fully trained, do $3,911
Times 12.
times, yeah, and then divided by 2.
23,466.
Are you including 2% COLA?
Yeah, that's part of this, yep, part of the proposed plan. So we could, yep, so I did do a 5 on that one.
So that decreases.
That would decrease it, depending on what step you guys feel comfortable, if it's gonna be in training or fully trained. Fully trained would be, a decrease of, $1,500.
We never get a fully trained one, right? But
No,
if it takes a year at least, or how long to get fully trained?
They move up after 6 months. usually.
6 months, oh, okay.
And Tanya's thinking was that, Pembina County's dispatch center is closing.
Oh,
So that's why,
maybe we'll
she
get
thought that there might be a
Leave it
chance of getting, because that was originally, we usually start them with the 1, but then when Tanya mentioned that, we thought, just in case.
Step 2 full trained.
Yeah, so step 2 fully trained would be $23,466.
Instead of the 24.
Or 96, yeah.
Okay.
But if they come in fully trained, they might come in higher than step 2 if they've been working over there for several years, so I could see where you use it by.
So are you saying that you leave the 5?
I would say leave it, I guess, I think
Yeah.
what you used is fine.
Okay.
I mean, if that's our thought
You know, we
process,
hired
then we
somebody
might
lower,
get one
I
from there.
mean, I know it affects your
Better
overall
to be
bill,
upset.
but it, you know, it isn't,
It's,
if we hire somebody lower, then it's just gonna be money low.
yes,
But it gives me some,
no,
And cushion,
but somebody would have to move a lot of training to hire in step 5, because I know. Dispatchers that have been here 5-6 years that are only at step 5, so I can't really hire somebody.
so you get somebody that's been there 10 years and they come over here, I mean, we
Well,
don't.
right, I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's,
so you guys are fine keeping, I mean, it's $1,500.
Mhm.
Is
I'm
it
fine.
gonna, okay, we'll just leave it the way it is then, okay? So that was all up in that tab. I might have one. I know, I have a heater down here if you need. What was your next one that you guys have?
I got the budgets on.
The zone, yeah.
Let's get the
Yeah,
term.
okay, I have an extra tab here, I'm glad you guys don't. Okay, so, with the increase in JR salary, it affected the zone as well. And the percentages, were not correct when we, when Jill originally presented. So with the increase, not only was there an increase in salary, but the numbers just didn't compute right, so that's why you see such a huge difference. That in the red was wrong. I've talked to Jill and she's in agreement with this number, she was fine with it. So it went from 45,730 to the 62,942. Cause they pay 60% of the salary. I'm not sure if I didn't even take the time to figure out what I figured originally, but I maybe did 50% instead of the 60. So that's the increase on that one. And then we'll get to, the next will be, the highway department. The road and bridge. So the only change on that one would be Tammy's salary as presented, by Tanya. So we moved it from 59,624 to 59,460.
But again, her salary in 2024 was
52.5.
52.5, yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one that is capped, that was affected would be, so like Rent and Crystal's salary lines, they come out of a few different funds. So when one's affected, no emergency.
Emergency management.
So we're done with that one. So these are just, the other portion of.
Go back to emergency.
No,
That's toward the end.
911, it should be under like E911.
Oh, well, there's emergency.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, there. So, the number to the left is the step and the 2% as presented by Tanya. And on the right, it was what Brent had originally, presented. So that was a decrease of, just under 6,000 at $91,097.60 for that one. And then the next page, that also is gonna affect that 50% of the open position. This position's open right now, and that would be the step 5. That we spoke about previously. And I think the last budget that was affected by the salary changes would be weed control. And that is the same thing, portion of the salaries come out of the weed control budget, so we adjusted it appropriately. Those changes are how I got the changes on here. And in like another month or so, we'll be able to update these, the expense and revenue account numbers, to be more accurate, you know, we're estimating on, half of a year, you know, where now we only have about 3 months left. So I do, because we're so close to the, limit on all of them, I do plan on pretty much reworking them here in September, another month or so.
Do we have to have the final budget?
October
It's already October, isn't it? You know,
very first, so I think, is it the 10th or whatever, so it's the first meeting in October that we will get that approved.
October 8th.
yeah, the first meeting.
Oh, no, first.
It says right here, final budget, October 1st.
Yeah. So we will. I'm hoping to get working on that, you know, a couple extra months. We want to see, you know, have a better feel, plus some of those budgeted numbers that we had for health insurance and stuff like that, we had no idea what we were coming in on, and we were coming in at, what is it, under 3%. I know some people were working 13%, because that's what, they were talking. So all of that stuff, I think, we need to take a good look at that stuff in the next month. So I would anticipate some more budget meetings, to be scheduled, since we're so close.
A lot of money, 10% drop in health from 13 to 3.
Yeah. So
It's a little shocking. Hope they didn't make a mistake.
I actually emailed her, are you serious? Or what is this, just the admin fees?
Don't get it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Why do we take such a big jump the 2 prior years, and they tell us because of our high usage, and then all of a sudden this year we didn't apparently have high usage?
I talked to, ND Fit at that conference, and they said it was, the majority of the change was one county. Made a change within, just one change, this one county, and it changed all the numbers, so, yeah.
Must have been a
It
big
was-
county.
Yeah, it was
Big county.
Stutzman County, he said, mentioned it was Stutzman County, they made one big change that shouldn't have affected a lot of the employees, but. I think it had to do with people over a certain age, they, I'm not exactly sure, but anyway. He did say, cause I said that even at the meeting, I'm like, how can you go from this to, you know, under 3, it just doesn't make sense, and he said, no, it was because it's a group. So we're looking at the whole group as a whole as well, and it was that one county that dropped it, so. That definitely will come into play. I know some of my numbers are going to be able to go down based off of that too, so. We'll get probably a better look at it afterwards, but.
So basically, when we look at this,
It's time to.
we have to approve. What are we approving down here? Give us
Yep, so what, as it sits right now, and subtracting off the, what's over. So the county is at 106.5. Countywide is 13.83. And then water and the library adds up to, 3.37. So the total is 120.33 plus the library for those that it's affected, and then the joint water for those that it's affecting.
So 123.37. Adding it, or don't we add this?
So it's hard to, there will be a lot of, like 97% of the county will have the 121.37. Plus the 2.33 for the library, but there will be a portion of the. County that won't have that 1.04, so it's hard to. Have a true. Depends on where you live.
I would make a motion to approve the preliminary budget as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I guess the only thing I wanna reiterate is I still see some cuts coming here before final.
Anything else?
Do you guys want me to go back to, like the department heads and have them look at their budgets, or are you gonna just call them in if you guys are looking at cutting? How do you guys wanna involve the department heads?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I think any departments that have a pretty high increase, that would be a wise, if their percentages are high, you know, from last year. I think that would be something to look at for some reasons why, or I mean, otherwise it's us just going in comparatively to last year and.
It's better to have them involved.
Yeah, and I was telling Amy and Christie, as I've been visiting with other auditors, there are some counties that will, the commission decides on what percentage of increase is allowed for their budgets. And the departments will use that percentage, present it to the auditor, and then I would present it. Only time that the department heads would come to you guys is if they needed a higher than you guys are allowing for an increase. So that might help going forward too. If you say, you know, you guys are, if it's under 10% increase or 5% increase or whatever, there's no need to come. So there's some different ways we can maybe be a little bit more proactive on it. A lot of numbers.
You'd be spending more time on budgets.
We would be
In order to figure out what that percentage is.
Well, you guys would look at like the, you know, what the economy is doing, or you know, what the percentage, you know, what you think that things are going up for the year, you know, what's an allowable percentage and go off of it that way, but I like that idea.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the preliminary budget. Pardon?
You said motion and second, yeah.
Yeah, yep, Christie made the motion, Ernie seconded, so I'll call for the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yeah.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself? Yes. Motion carried. Okay, before we, yeah, did I say that we were gonna add the logo to this? We've been talking so much. When we started and couldn't get on, I wanted to add the logo to the agenda, and I forgot. So at the very end, we're gonna add the logo. Everybody should have gotten an email about it. And yes, yes, so we will go with county department salary reimbursement. We're now to unfinished and other business.
I don't know if that, was that
You know,
what we, Ron, I'm assuming that that's all that was when we were gonna discuss that, $300. So, I don't think there's anything on that. That's what, I think we covered it.
Okay.
The next would be, yeah,
3-year tax delinquent listing.
that's just for you guys to review. It's been in the paper. We continue to, work through the process.
I'm gonna go back to it.
Seems like there's more there this year than previous years, but maybe just me.
Yeah, it's just the time, you know,
Yeah.
we get presented a few times, so a lot of them will get,
Taken off.
yeah, exactly.
But it just started, but it just seems like there's a lot there this year.
Okay, yes.
Madam Chairman, can we just go back? When we're talking about that county department salary reimbursement, when we're implementing a new program such as a retention incentive, don't we need a motion to do something like that or not? I mean, we did for the referrals and for the sign-on bonuses, things like that. We did motions for that. To me, this is kind of in the same bucket. We're doing a retention. I don't know. I just want to make sure that we're kosher. I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe we don't need it. I don't know, Ron, do you have any input there? Do you?
Tanya might say just to be safe, to do a
Or
motion to accept it into that. Okay, so we did a retention bonus for, some deputies.
For night shift.
Yeah, for night shift, so can I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Amy,
Second,
thanks, Danny. Any more questions? We discussed that during our budget, preliminary budget, so, I'll call for the roll. Danny,
yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried. Okay. The delinquent tax listing taken care of. We need to, talk about having the public budget hearing.
Yeah. So in the past, we have, it has always been, the second meeting in September. So that would be September 17th, and in the past, it had, started at 8:30 in the morning. So the public budget hearing would be held before the, scheduled commission meeting. But that's obviously, there's a better time or date. Just throwing it out there.
Well, let's stick to what we've done in the past. So September 17th. Yeah. Tuesday, September 17th, our second meeting in September.
Yeah.
Is 8:30 enough time?
We've never had too much trouble before.
I mean, so, yeah, and it's just if the public wants to come and visit, so.
Okay, we'll schedule that for 8:30 AM.
Okay.
September 17th for our public budget meeting. For anybody who wants to come. Upload budget. Okay, next we have planning and zoning appointment for the city of Grafton. They have given us the name of Brad Biryonic and, so do I have a motion to approve to put Brad Biryonic on the planning and zoning committee?
So move.
I'll second.
Any more questions? Brad is from town. He owns Jet Oil. Businessman for a long time. Would be a good appointment, so, I'll hit the roll. Hit the roll. Danny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Christie.
Yes.
Ernie,
Yes.
myself, yes.
He's my relative.
He's your relative, yep. Okay, motion carried. Let's go to the logo next. So everyone should have gotten an email from Tanya on the logo. We have, she asked me to present this today. We have a logo that was presented. Oh, boy. I don't know. I can't remember her name. Anyway, we have a logo presented. The bottom one is the original one that she sent, and the other two are the modified versions. I know a couple of us have talked about, Amy and I did, we looked at them earlier, and of course, the original one is something that we're looking for, but we thought we'd like something a little bolder, like with the WC. And you guys see that there, the top one. I didn't like the W right on top of the C. And, you can see both of them on the middle one, the WC, Walsh County. That's the one I like. Does anybody else have any other comments?
Madam Chairman, I agree. I think the middle one, and I did talk to the gal that works for me who's in marketing, and she agreed, and she said it's easy to replicate and it'll be something that you'll be able to really work with. So she also gave her support on that one. So that would be my pick as well.
I think this is a real professional looking logo. You know, we don't need anything colorful. we just need something that's gonna represent us and be there for a long time.
When I was looking for them, that was my choice as well. So,
Yeah, I have no problem with it.
So the second one,
mhm.
yeah, that one's kind of intertwined, but this, you can really see the W and the C. The top one is, that's kind of over top. Oh, is that a C underneath, you know, so.
Looking at the.
Yeah, it's intertwined with your W there, so. Okay, well, I don't know that we need a vote on it, just that we agree that the second one would be good for our Walsh County logo. We'll pick that, we can move forward with some marketing, with our jail and for different things. So we'll pick that one. Okay, then we will, done with that, we will move on to jail meeting. I don't know that we have anything scheduled. Part of it was because of logo for them to work on that. If we're gonna schedule a meeting, we need to get the logo to Samuel's group that's doing the marketing, and we can go from there. We'll have Tanya get that logo to them and then schedule a meeting. Danny,
There's the only thing I was concerned about is the other three commissioners that are behind on the jail. If they could get together and see the blueprints, see the floor plan,
they're not part of the committee, and if,
their finance, so.
well, yeah, Christie, yeah, it's.
But they're getting questions from the public
Mhm,
that they don't know how to answer.
mhm.
There should be some way to update them on the floor plan and the process.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the committee side of things, but I guess it would be nice to see a timeline. To have an update, whether it's from Ron or Samuel's group of just like, this is how often we'll update you, so that, yeah, we can feel like we know what's going on as well. I agree. I mean, if we're gonna support this and put it out there, then we need to be aware.
I understand that we have to be careful with open meeting laws. I don't wanna.
But I think we're just asking
We will
for
check
here,
on that. We will check on that.
even just at commission meetings though.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
where I'm asking.
I guess we don't have any updates as far as,
We should talk to Tanya and
Yeah.
schedule an update meeting with Sam's group. I think
We
we
can-
are overdue for
yeah.
a meeting.
yeah, we'll have a meeting with them and then we'll come back with an update here.
But could Christie attend as a finance side of it?
No, those meetings are separate. Those meetings, I'm sorry, I, with me running it, I don't wanna get caught with being information being, you know, to the wrong, not to the wrong people, but having it separate meetings. I wanna be careful about that. If they wanna call a finance meeting and talk about things, that's fine, okay?
I guess I'm just gonna say it's hard to have a finance meeting when I have no clue what's going on. You know, I mean, as
Well,
far as,
you
like, how much money do we need to raise?
Well, we
Things
don't
like
know that
Yeah,
yet, so we don't know that, we don't know any of that information yet. So
mhm.
if you wanna get together with Tanya and schedule a meeting for that. That would be great. I don't know if she knows anything different because of information we still have to collect or get from Christie. So if you guys wanna schedule a meeting and then go from there to see what, you know, information you need to get to them first. Okay. Hate to be so technical, but. Okay, the jail meeting, anything more about jail meeting? We'll. Talk to Tanya and schedule something. Okay. Okay, and then legislative. Denny,
I guess I'd just like to, we used to have them in at least once a year. All of our local legislators,
during session.
yeah. No, before session, coming around the counties and they were getting updates from the counties as what they needed and what they'd like to see done. I would like to see the legislators come in again and we could present them with what we need. As far as jail financing, as roads and bridges getting cut,
Mental health.
our mill levy limit, possibly getting the sheriff's department out of general fund.
There's a lot of issues.
Just to update them as to what we're concerned about and what we would like to see happen in the next section.
Okay,
They used to come around. We haven't seen them for,
I don't think they came around unless you called them to come.
Well, that's a good
Not in the
thing.
last 12 years, they haven't unless you called them.
right,
Yeah.
but we used to have them in here.
I agree with you, Danny, it's time.
Yep. Okay,
They
you
come
wanna
on,
make, you wanna
they
make
come-
the calls? You wanna make the calls?
I can,
Okay,
when would you like to see them?
alright, it's up to you.
I
You're
think it'd
calling
be
me.
better being here one of them.
Well, I'm here, so. You, if you talk to the, talk to,
Do you feel there would be a better time frame just with election and stuff coming for the?
I can come anytime.
Right,
Unless
but
I'm
for
at
the
an
others.
interim meeting. I have no idea. I know Dave is, I haven't seen Dave around all summer, so. And Yana's got interim and she's on legislative call, so council, so those two are the ones you're gonna have to try and get a. Yeah. So I would call them as soon as possible to see which meeting they can come to,
Dave and who?
and I'll be here.
Yeah,
Myrtle. Are you gonna give the district, was it 20 over there, them guys to call? I think it's guys that don't go, there's 2 guys.
I'm not sure.
There's 3 guys.
There's 3 guys, yeah.
And they might be able to come at a different time because of time, I'm not sure.
So there's gonna be harvest involved in some of them, so.
I know Randy for sure harvesting, I don't, the other 2 don't. Aren't actively farming. So. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, any more unfinished or other business?
I got a FYI, I don't know if you all got it, that Blinn Dam rehabilitation meeting on the 27th at 9.
August 27th.
Yep, at 9 o'clock. I think you should have got an email.
And,
Just remember.
Is that,
That's farmers room.
okay,
Or, I don't know, farmers room or water board, I don't know. Usually
Oh,
farmers room. Yeah.
okay,
If you're interested, that's a